It's a podcast called I Choose You. Ben, Evan, Jeremy, Andy, and Jew. Let the cooking begin. I choose you.
Hello, and welcome to I Choose You, the podcast about cooking and eating Pokemon. My name is Jeremy Zelik, and I'm the host and Dalton Brown of the group. Joining me this week, as always, is...
friend of the show, Ben Montoya.
Ian Davis, the Napoleon Bonaparte of the show.
Ooh, and celebrating number 150, Evan Aubrey.
Woo!
Nice.
Crack it.
Guys, are you excited for Icy's oh, fuck. I fucked it up. Sesquicentennial, that's how it's pronounced.
Yeah, no one ever says that ever, so it's okay.
Well, people are going to be saying it a lot in 4 years because that's America's sesquicentennial.
Yep.
No, fuck, no, it's not.
And people still won't be able to know how to say it.
No, I fucked it up again. Sesquicentennial is 150 years. 250 is something else. There's gonna be so many nerds typing on their keyboard being like, actually, on me. But it is I Choose You sesquicentennial. We made it 150 years. No one thought it would be possible because human life expectancy hasn't reached that point yet.
I honestly didn't think Ian would make it with all the LaCroix that he drinks.
Yeah.
Do you think like his bones are filled with tiny like carbon bubbles from all the LaCroix that he consumes?
I'm sure 10 years from now, we're all going to have terminal cancer.
The marrow in your bones will be bubbling.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it's funny that you mentioned that, Ben. I decided this week, because I hadn't before, to watch the last season of Good Eats that aired, because Alton Brown was posting on Twitter about how he has a new book, and the recipes from the book were from the unproduced season of Good Eats that they were going to make before the pandemic shut down his whole deal. And I was like, I never watched the last season that he made, and it made it during basically the beginning stage of the pandemic, so it's kind of real janky because you could see he halfway through he references it, and then by the end of the season there's usually does skits with people, they come in and talk about stuff, and by the end it's literally just him in his studio and no one else. So it's kind of like a disturbing reminder of the beginning stages of the pandemic. But the first episode of that season of Good Eats is about bone marrow and how it's tasty and delicious, and we should put it on all of our bread or whatever kind of situation. So
I'd let Alton Brown eat my bone marrow. Just putting it out there.
Yeah, just
in an apocalypse kind of situation, or
in a zaddy
special
situation.
Yeah.
And welcome to LaCroix Boys. What are we drinking for the Sasquatch Centennial?
Yeah, the Sasquatch Centennial.
There we go. I've got me a Cutwater tequila margarita in a can.
Oh shit! Damn, I should get margaritas in a can. I love margaritas.
These are good. They'll get you though. 12.5% ain't no joke.
God, that's a lot.
Damn.
Nice.
Yeah, you are celebrating the Sasquatch centipede over here.
I am drinking a medicinal bronchial tea because why are you looking at me like that? Because the listeners, yeah, sorry, I'm lame. The listeners at home might not know. Between the last episode we recorded and this episode we recorded, I got COVID. Though assumably the last episode we recorded, I had COVID. I just didn't know it yet. And so I've yet to return to the alcoholic beverage because of that.
You know what they say though, LaCroix a day keeps the doctor away.
That is true. Though I had 18 cans of LaCroix when I started my COVID quarantine, and I drank all of them.
And I bet you feel a lot better now.
Yeah, now you're cured.
Yeah, basically.
I'm drinking.
What are you drinking?
Ben, please.
Oh no,
After you.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say I'm not drinking anything very special, but I am now realizing that this beer is from Abnormal Brewery, so it is a little bit off the beaten path. And it's called Secret Safari Pale Ale.
Oh.
Got a cute little lion on it.
Is it taking your taste buds on a journey?
Yeah.
Is it taking your taste buds to the safari zone?
Ooh, yes.
I wish.
I'm drinking a very, very, very special beer. It was a limited run. I've had this can in my fridge for a long time.
Oh, wow.
It is La Cumbre's limited edition Fat Otis
Oh, the beer.
Oh,
Fat
Yes.
Bear Week special double hazy IPA.
Incredible.
Wow.
And it's really fucking good. Like, I think this is probably my favorite beer, and I'm sad that it may never enter my body again.
You got one single can of it?
I bought like I bought this for Thanksgiving.
Damn.
Uh,
How is it aged, do you think? Like
It's still really good. I thought
Excellent.
the can was gonna like fuck it up, but tastes
Wow.
great. And yeah, I'm hoping, word to the wise, new Zoltan and the Fortune Tellers album coming out in the next few months, and I have a little ditty on there for all my fat bears, all the
Oh,
fat
yeah, you will.
bears.
all right.
Excellent.
So I'm hoping maybe I can get some more beer from La Cumbre if I tell them that I'm the
Yeah,
stuff.
you can get some fat bear clout.
Yes.
Get sponsored.
Underwriting your our advertising with the La Cumbre Bear beer.
Exactly.
So while LaCroix Boys was going on, I was correct that sesquicentennial is indeed the 150th anniversary or something. 250th anniversary is semi-quincentennial. Which
Which doesn't quite roll off the tongue.
No.
The Sasquatch centipede
Yes.
Hollapalooza.
Yeah, but it's the semi-quincentennial. So a quincentennial. So it's half of half of a thousand years, if that makes sense. So it's semi-quince, half of a half, 250. Great language we got going there.
White people ruined everything.
Really did.
Take it up with the fucking Romans or whatever. And anyway, I'm sure Pokemaniac Chris can tell us all these roots and Latin roots or whatever. He's good at that kind of stuff. Anyway, but this is not a podcast celebrating the 150th anniversary of something except our show. This is the podcast about cooking and eating Pokemon, where each week we choose a new, randomly selected Pokemon that we prepare for one another, and we decide amongst ourselves, among a very democratic process, who has the most delicious and fulfilling recipe. Who won last week? I don't remember because I had COVID, so the whole
It was
last
me.
week is a fog.
It was Ian.
I think I won.
Yes.
The
Really?
cotton candy.
Oh, you're right.
Yes. Well, it
Then
would
you
have
did
been hard for Ian to
cauliflower.
win because
I
he
voted.
wasn't on the last episode.
Oh fuck, you're right.
Got him.
He got into my brain.
It's fucking the Riddler over here.
Oh no.
I saw that movie this weekend.
Oh,
It's pretty good, isn't it?
still have yet to see it.
Yeah, it was fine.
It was fine. All right. This week we're cooking Shelmet, which is a fun-looking Pokemon. Though some have said some naughty things about it. But Ben, you won last week, so let's say what say you about Shelmet?
So the thing that I want to do with and around Shelmet is I want to come back to this idea of candy bugs.
Interesting.
Because it is bug type,
Yes.
and we've discussed ad nauseum about eating bugs in a sweet kind of capacity, in a mass marketed candy capacity, no less. And when I'm looking at Shelmet, the color scheme just like screams like watermelon, like artificial watermelon
Oh,
flavoring.
Okay.
Yes, it
Like
does.
Hubba Bubba watermelon.
Yeah.
Would you say that he's like a real kind of like bubble tape kind of Pokemon?
Yeah, I mean, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, you're right, Jeremy. There is kind of a bubble tape look to it. Like if you kept pulling on its like little snoot, like 3 feet of bubblegum might come out. I don't know.
Yes.
I like that. I hadn't gotten. What I was thinking is that this Shelmet is a natural, artificial watermelon flavor. Not that it
It's
is a
naturally
watermelon.
artificially flavored.
Exactly. Not that it is a watermelon or that it tastes like a watermelon, but that the like natural flavor of it is almost like if you did a blind taste test between this and like a Cabbage Patch, kind of situation, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference, basically.
All right.
That's actually how they make
And
watermelon LaCroix, because it's naturally essenced.
Mm.
What they don't tell you is they're using the Shelmet.
Ben,
Right.
did you
Using
just,
Shelmet juice into it.
Ben, did you just say that that it tastes like a Cabbage Patch Kid?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You know those are dolls that you can't eat.
Oh,
Right?
I mean Sour Patch Kids. Sorry. You're right.
It tastes like just licking a Cabbage Patch Kid.
I love eating cotton.
It tastes like when you do the Cabbage Patch on your birthday. So
what does that
anyway,
mean?
I meant Sour Patch Kids. So okay, yeah. So basically, what you're going to be doing, and then I'm also I'm imagining like we have these Shelmet flavored gummies, and then we have a Carablast Berry Blast flavored gummy that kind of like goes with it in like a little package, some fruit snacks gummy situation. Yeah, Ian.
I just want to clarify for the listeners at home, what kind of gummies are we talking about?
Yeah.
So obviously the Shelmet varieties are going to be watermelon, as that is what they are naturally essenced. And the berries for the Carablast, the Carablast, which is like Shelmet's like sister species or whatever, has a like blueberry lemon like natural essence to it as well.
I think what Ian's getting at is, am I tripping after eating these gummies?
Yes. Do I eat them and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go on a medieval adventure?
No, these are like swap them with some Gushers on the playground kind of gummies. These
like
are like
Mott's.
mass marketed
Okay.
for the chillins gummies.
Now I know we've done Gushers before. It's in our famous Starmie episode. But have you thought about maybe the Shelmet is a gusher and you bite off its snoot and it gushes out of it when you do that?
No, I was thinking these would be more like
Absolutely not.
like a equivalent trade to a Gushers. They're not Gushers. They're gummies, right? Along the lines of like a watermelon Sour Patch or other kinds of like maybe like a Haribo even. So that's what I have for you. And so basically what you're going to do with your Shelmet is you're going to pluck it right out of its little shell, and then you're just going to ship it off to the essence factory, and it's like they like plop it on the conveyor belt, and it's like bum 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 bum, and it like squeezes out all the juice of it. Just really hydraulic press, the whole works, and gets all the good juices out, all that condenses the goo into some good flavoring. And then the flavoring is used in your gummies.
Delish.
And so do you not assume that none of the Shelmet texture is added to your gummy? It doesn't have like a hard outside and a soft inside like the Shelmet. It is just a regular gummy.
It's just a regular gummy. Yeah.
Okay. You have to crunch through a seashell first to get to the gummy. Yeah.
I mean, is there like a candy that is like kind of like a hard shell, like an M&M shell around like a gummy? I guess a Skittle's kind of like that if we think about
That's
it.
pretty close.
I guess so.
I think, or Nerd's Rope.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's also
Oh,
pretty.
yeah. Nerd's rope.
I bet the Shelmet's tongue is like a nerd's rope, if you know what I mean.
God, I hope not.
Like it sticks it out, it's like blah, 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 it has like all those bumps on it.
Oh man. Ben, would you coat this in sour citric acid, or is this just like a smooth gummy?
Yeah, I was thinking with you could do a dusting with. I was thinking maybe you could do a couple of varieties. You could do a clean version, for the kids. You could do like a sour version with the sour sugar, and then you could even do like a chili lime, like spicy variety.
Spice it up.
It'd be kind of interesting. Yeah.
Nice.
Interesting. All right. Thanks for that recipe, Ben. Now let us move to Ian. You weren't here last week, so your insight is sorely needed on the show again.
Absolutely.
In times of desperate need,
Yeah,
we turn
bring
to
us
Ian.
back.
What? Hold on. When I'm feeling down in times of trouble, Mother Ian comes to me, whispering words of wisdom.
It's for the fans.
It's yeah. I can't think of a funny show-related thing that reminds with "Let It Be." Good. Continue, Ian.
Thank you. The Shelmet. I'm going savory with it. First thing that came to mind, hopefully I'm not crushing anybody here. Shelmet.
Like
It's
an
like
omelet?
an omelet.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I absolutely thought of an omelet the first time I saw that.
I swear, I think of these things. I'm like, someone like this came to me in like light years time. This must have like they must have thought of this. This is the obvious solution to the problem.
Well, I think the thing is that, look, this is I Egg You, the podcast about cracking open and enjoying eggs. But it's definitely, it has, like, when it's closed, you could definitely see kind of like the egg consistency. And I feel like, especially in the Pokemon world, we talked about Execute. It's the kind of thing where you kind of have to deal with the fact that those yolks, they come out and they sometimes have a smiley face on them. In the real world, that'd be bad, but in the Pokemon world, that's the breaks. That's just how it is.
Exactly. So, making an omelet with the Shelmet. And since Shelmet is the snail Pokemon, I assume maybe it is snail-like in texture and consistency. So I did find...
That's what I want for my eggs, is a snail-like consistency.
But you have made the fatal... I fucked up the quote. I can't remember what it is. But you've made the fatal mistake of thinking that the Shelmet is the egg.
What?
The Shelmet is a snail.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're using regular fucking eggs. I don't know what to,
What?
what to do here.
Oh, you're just putting that inside of an omelet.
Wow,
Yeah,
you really rope-a-doped us with this one. We were like, oh yeah, it's kind of like an egg, whatever. And then you're like, no.
Yeah, I walked you right into my fucking trap.
Got him.
Yes. We activated your trap card.
You're going straight to the fucking Shadow Realm, Jimbo.
Oh, yeah, you know it.
No, so you take your Execute, crack that shit, whisk it up, and then, according to recipeland.com, you gotta starve the snails and clean them well.
That's
So
not a tip I would have expected from a website called Recipe Land.
Deprive them of any nutrients for 7 days.
Get your Shelmet, you starve it.
Mm-hmm.
Probably, how big is a Shelmet?
It's a foot tall.
Probably takes a few days. It dies, it perishes. Clean it really well. And you're going to cook it for an hour in boiling water with salt, fennel, and a fig leaf.
What?
Oh.
And then
more
you...
like a witch's brew.
Exactly.
I have
Drain it, remove its shell. It should just like slop right out of there. All right. And then you get the omelet mixture. Beat the egg yolks and fold in the stiffly beaten whites. And then, and I quote, make an omelet in the usual way.
What a great recipe that it's just like, fuck, you know what to do. Fucking make an omelet.
Yeah, I mean, I don't personally know what to say. You're like, you either do or you don't at this point in the show.
Wow.
And
right now, didn't realize.
yeah. And so it says make an omelet in the usual way and fill with the snails. Fill it with the Shelmet. So you just kind of get the eggs going. They're getting nice and cooked, and then you just kind of. I would like, the egg, it's cooked, and then you put the snail in there, and then you just kind of fold it over it real nice.
So this omelet is just egg and seafood. There's no veggies. There's no spice.
Can we
I
have
don't
some
know if a snail is
cheese?
seafood.
I guess that's true.
Definitely. You definitely have to have like a sharp, like, ow, I cut myself on this cheddar. And probably also spinach.
Yeah,
In fact, maybe I take it back. Maybe it's snail, and then maybe if you're going to do spinach, like isn't feta like a nice traditional cheese?
Yeah, that would
Go
work.
with the yeah. Fold that over, put it on your plate. You got a mimosa.
Yeah.
Brunch time.
Oh, it's brunch.
Are you gonna use the helmet part of Shelmet for anything, or is it just like maybe what if you served your like your mimosa in its helmet?
That could be pretty fun.
Just slurping
You
it
could-
out of the helmet.
That would, or maybe like I could also see a case for like, you fill it with salt and pepper, and it's your little shaker.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of gives me that aesthetic.
I like that idea.
So, did you? Okay, so this omelet with a snail is French, I'm assuming. Or
It's a hefty assumption.
well, they're the only places that I know that eat a lot of snails is France, and omelet sounds French.
Well, I'm glad you bring that up because I did go to egginfo.co.uk
Okay.
and I did look up the origins of course, I searched omelet inventor, and it took me to this website
Perfect.
of who invented the omelet. And it's a fucking mystery. The omelet is a French word.
Yes.
Officially used in the cooking publication Cuisine Bourgeoisie in the late 17th century.
Nice.
Whoa.
Bougie.
But
This recipe's bougie.
but the Romans were known to use eggs and dairy to create certain dishes. The Persians had their own omelet, and so did the Japanese. So it's really it's kind of like the wheel of food.
Yeah.
Interesting.
The reason I'm Napoleon Boner Party is apparently Napoleon and his army were traveling through a small town, and a local innkeeper served him an omelet, and he was so impressed that he ordered that all the eggs in town were gathered in one place, and they made a giant omelet for the army.
That has to be fake. Is that real?
Well, it's real enough that every year there's a festival in the town of Besserie, France.
Whoa.
And every year they make a giant omelet for the townspeople.
Holy shit.
How giant is this omelet? Is it?
That's a good question. They don't, unfortunately, egginfo.co.uk didn't give me a.
Is it like Bruce Almighty, world's largest cookie kind of situation?
Yeah. Is this the world's largest omelet every year?
I'm searching it. Holy shit.
That's a big omelet.
Oh, mamma mia!
This, you joke, but this is one big a fucking omelet. Holy shit.
Wow, you're really edging us on this omelet.
That's exactly what I'm doing.
The most edged of all is the listener who can't see anything.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, we can post this picture on our social media pages.
Here, I'm not fancy enough to put a picture in, but I'll drop you a fucking link.
I gotta see this omelet.
Yeah, well,
oh
okay.
my god.
In defense, I do think this is like an omelet they made for a world record. I don't think this is from the town.
Okay.
But
So it's just a big omelet.
Just a vat of eggs.
the capabilities of
There's
put
no
enough
way
egg
you
into a hot
hold
tub.
this.
I don't think you hold it. I just think they
No, not
do it
holding.
and then you
You
get
can't
bits
fold
of
that
it.
in half. You can't like traditional omelet unless they have like a contraption that mechanically closes like a bear trap.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get a
While
folded
we're on the
omelet.
topic of omelets, I feel like you can't talk about omelets without talking about the perfect omelet, which is the Neopet omelet.
Oh my god.
That thing looks so fucking good.
This glossy clip art from 1998 is the most delicious of all omelets.
God, it's just
So true.
Never has a meal so salivated me than the Neopets omelet. You know what I learned recently?
what's that?
That Neopets, the website, when we used it, was owned by Scientologists.
I heard about that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
that-
sports.
Yeah, so we
It's
were
still
basically
around, isn't it?
Yes, but
It
it's
is
no
still
longer
around.
owned by Scientologists.
That's why it's not good.
Well, and Elon Musk just bought Twitter, so maybe Neopets is the spot to be, baby.
Yeah, the new social media. Except I think they're like trying to do like weird NFTs with the Neopets. So
Oh, that
Man.
makes sense.
The
Neopets
crypto
would
bros
make-
got Neopets.
what won't they take from us?
You have to admit, like Neopets do make great fucking NFTs. Like
Yeah,
the art
They're
is,
kind of
like,
set
there.
up for it.
That's
Kind
a
of were
nice
NFTs before they were
fucking
that.
Neopet. NFNs.
I have a whole binder of Neopet cards in my garage. Is that
Holy
worth
shit!
anything?
Probably worth millions now.
Yes. Millions. I'm sure it's worth at least $50 if you find the right buyer.
Not unless I convince someone to buy it for 100 Gs, and
Yes.
yeah,
Um,
we all agree it's worth that.
Yeah. I was speaking of news today. I don't know why I didn't bring this up sooner, but I don't know if you guys saw this, but the Mario movie got delayed. So it's no longer debuting Christmas 2020, but it is instead releasing on April 7th, 2023, which I find funny for one particular reason, which is that's Good Friday. So I think that Nintendo was like, we've got to release the Mario movie on Good Friday because much like Jesus, Mario died for our sins.
And much like Jesus, Mario will be risen.
Yes.
Yes.
It's
a me.
Yeah. Well, he comes back.
Jesus came back from the dead and said,
so
"It's a me."
Yeah. Or it's like, that it's kind of like the Holy Trinity. It's a me, Luigi,
mia.
Mario. It's a me.
I do like the part in the Bible where Jesus, like he comes back and then he flies off into the air, but he really like goes into the tube, and the tube just kind of like takes him up to heaven.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's very. It's
That's how
very
I
good.
wanna
I like
go.
that this move reflects Mario's Italian heritage as a Catholic. I think that really represents it well going forward. I think that's a great tie-in for the Mario story.
Mario
Why
fights
didn't-
the Easter Bunny.
Yes.
All jokes aside, why didn't they release it on March 10th? Isn't that Mario Day?
Oh, that would have made so much sense.
I don't think March 10th is a Friday. First of all, if I had to guess. Secondly, people it was originally supposed to come out the week before Christmas, like the 22nd this year. I think that's the Friday before Christmas.
Jeremy, guess what?
What?
It is a Friday.
Oh shit!
They fucked up. I don't know.
Oh shit! I didn't know
Well,
that.
so the real scoop on this is that like the PR department was like, well, can we push the release date a month earlier to make it Mario Day? Like that would be a great, PR event for us.
Yeah.
And but it didn't test well with the audiences because all the religious overtones were just so like, strong. It really wouldn't make any sense to release it a month before Easter.
It's like when those big movies, they bring in like the people to see if it's okay, and they bring in like the rabbi, and they bring in
Yes.
like the pope to make sure it's okay to show.
movie screener.
Upgrade.
And like I actually heard they had all these religious leaders, the Dalai Lama was there, and they started to argue. They're like, no, this needs to come out on Buddha's birthday. No, this gotta. And the Pope won out.
Yeah. Well, I think the Mario's Catholicism really swayed him on that opinion. I want to quickly read the tweet that announced the delay of the Mario movie. So this is a tweet from Nintendo of America at Nintendo of America, and it starts like this: "This is Miyamoto. After consulting with Chris-san, which is Chris Pratt, my partner at Illumination on the Super Mario Brothers film, we decided to move the global release date to spring 2023, April 28th in Japan and April 27th in North America. My deepest apologies, but I promise it will be well worth the wait." First of all, I do not think Miyamoto wrote this tweet. I don't think
He consults with Chris Pratt on a daily basis.
Yes. He's like calling up Chris Pratt and he's like, "Hello, we need to fucking delay the Mario movie. The deep Mario lore is not being correctly presented and will not be ready for holiday 2020, says Miyamoto.
So, okay, does this mean that the roles for Koopa Kid is still available
open?
now?
Yeah, can we sneak in there?
Yeah, I mean, that was the excuse that they told us is like, well, production's really fast right now. We just had to go with, this other podcast real quick.
Yes.
But
The McElroys swooped in there. They're already in the Illumination. No, they did. Illumination didn't do the Trolls movies. I think that was somebody else. But it's like they're called like the McElroys or like Roman Mars or something, and Roman Mars is gonna like voice one of the maybe Ira Glass is a Koopa Kid.
That would be pretty good.
But now they have the time. Like,
Yes.
we can work something out.
Yeah, we could definitely. I'll play like Bullet Bill number 3 or something.
Yeah, there you go.
Ian can be I don't know. You'll be Beethoven Van Koopa or whatever his name is. Ludwig Van Koopa, that's his name.
I was actually, I was talking to the casting guy. We both agreed I would be one of the Mario Karts.
You'd be like,
you think it's a regular Mario Kart, but then you realize it's like, oh shit, is that Lightning McQueen?
Yeah.
No, it's just Ian's
Starts
eyes superimposed
Oh, no.
on the Yoshi bike.
yeah. Excellent. Do you say anything? Do you go like ka-chow or something?
They were like, can you give me your best car sound? And I was like,
Hired.
Yes.
Yeah. I did it in one take. It was pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's what they love about that. Okay, if Owen Wilson was in the Mario movie, which character do you think he would play?
Does Mario have like a dad?
Imagine like Owen Wilson is like, wow, Mario, you really did it. And then Chris Pratt's like, yeah, Dad, I did.
Oh, no.
My sons, Mario and Luigi, I'm so proud of you. Wow.
Wow.
Well, yeah, it's like the movie ends and it turns out it's Chris Pratt relaying this story to his dad.
Yeah,
Mm.
who's on his like deathbed.
Yeah, and Owen Wilson just looks directly into the camera and says,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, he's like,
Dies. Movie
yeah,
over.
it's his dying breath, and like, there's no follow up to that. That's just it goes that fucking credits. You don't even see his funeral.
And Owen
I'm gonna
Wilson,
go.
the first
I'm gonna go
outfit.
with Bowser Jr. actually for Owen Wilson.
Interesting.
Yes.
Is there a movie with Jack Black and Owen Wilson?
Oh, that's a good question. Is Jack Black not in one of the Night at the Museum movies?
Oh shit.
No one's seen him in the same room at the same time.
Yeah, it's impossible.
I can't decide if their chemistry would be good or not.
They were in The Big Year, actually, as co-stars.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Is that a movie? That's a movie about looking at birds, right?
It is a bird-watching movie with Steve Martin.
Is it good?
No,
It's pretty all right.
I haven't seen it. I heard it was very boring because it's
6.2 out of 10.
It's a movie about, it's a comedy about bird watching. I don't know if you could, that doesn't sound like the most involving premise.
That is
I'm
the
gonna-
only one.
I'm gonna watch
Wow.
it. It's on Disney Plus.
Oh, there you go.
Oh man.
Well,
Google asks, is there really a big year in birding?
is there?
Is there? All right. Well, I got a recipe, I guess, after all of this happening here. I guess maybe I'm one of the only ones to think of, Shelmet as a, mussel, maybe a shellfish so far. So what we're going to be doing is some stout steamed Shelmet with some charred onions.
Oh
And
shit.
what we're gonna be doing is you cook your onions in some oil until the edges start to get a little bit crispy and blackened. Then you add in some butter and garlic and thyme. Let that cook a little bit more, get all the aromatics really going. And then you add some kombu, which is like a seaweed variant, bay leaf, and your stout, and you just let that kind of simmer into a nice good sauce. And then you toss in all of your Shelmets. This is if Ian's going for world's largest omelet, I'm going for world's largest mussel bake. So yeah, you're gonna put a bunch of Shelmet into a giant pot and let them go for about 5 to 8 minutes or so. This is an interesting thing because usually, like with mussels, if they don't open like after you're like done cooking them, like they're probably not good to eat, so you just like discard those ones. Do we think that Shelmets are ever like closed to begin with, or are they always open?
Well, I think that they obviously they close for like a defensive posture, but I think you could like tickle them and they open up again. You know what I'm saying?
So you just got to reach your hands into this boiling hot pot of Shelmet and just tickle them until they open up.
Oh, you got like a cooking feather. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like It's like one of those like silicone like brushes, except you use it to like tickle your food to make it giggle and open up while you're preparing it.
Man,
So,
I love
wait.
Ian, what do you love?
I love those videos of turtles getting like brushed by a toothbrush on their shell, and they do like a fun little dance back
Freaking
and
out.
forth.
Oh,
No, they love it. They fucking live for that.
Like scratching a dog's belly.
Yeah.
Yes. So maybe it's like that where you like get your brush and they like Shelmet like gets jiggy with it.
There you go. What's up, Ben?
So wait, I guess maybe I was a little confused, but like with regular mussels, you cook them, you boil them, and you take them out like they're ready when they open, or if they open, they're not good.
No, if they open, they're ready to go. If they're like remain
see.
closed, they were either like dead or something is like wrong with them, or they're not fully cooked. So like you don't want to eat those ones. But if they're fully
Okay.
open, if the Shelmet face is fully exposed, you're good to go.
Okay. I see.
So
Yeah.
that's my recipe. That's pretty much it.
Okay.
That sounds really good. The like stock or like whatever that you're boiling it in sounds good.
Yeah, the stout stock.
Yeah.
What
Excellent.
what am I drinking with this?
Well, I mean, I would also pair it with a nice stout, I think, just to like really complement it. Like you want, because you're gonna, most of the alcohol, not all apparently, will cook off, right? And you're just gonna ladle a little bit over the Shelmets, but then you finish it off with like a nice crisp milk stout or something like that. I think would be really good.
Lovely.
This sounds very northeastern, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it
some
might
reason.
be.
I don't know.
I've definitely. I mean, there's plenty of mussels up here too. Any sort of like coastal town will get you there.
Excellent. Well, now it's my turn for a recipe. So I was looking at Shelmet, and I feel like we've made like medieval times jokes before on this show. But I definitely wanted to go for kind of like that, chivalric kind of recipe situation that we're going for. And what I decided is that we will continue the medieval theming of the Shelmet, but we aren't going to go straight medieval times. So I looked up some medieval recipes, and the most common recipe I got that wasn't like a roast duck or bread or something is for a soup called pottage, which is an old medieval soup that's like very common among the peasantry, and it's kind of like the basis of the modern soup. Now, usually a pottage is only made with vegetables, but I'm going to make a slight adjustment for our Shelmet recipe, where we're going to add the Shelmet as kind of a protein base for the pottage. So we will be making our Shelmet pottage this week. And I think the last trick to my recipe is I'm always a fan. You're a medieval peasant, a medieval Pokemon peasant, if you will. You're living in like the 14th century Kalos region, and you got to worry about the Black Death or whatever kind of situation wrecking your town, and there's like corpses piling up the street, and you're like, oh, I've got to use everything I got. So what we're gonna do is once we shuck the Shelmet out of its shell, we're gonna use the shell, which is theoretically metallic, as the pot that we're going to cook our pottage in. For the pottage, which I'm getting from a recipe called Brand New Vegan, and this recipe is not going to be vegan. Sorry, the guy who wrote this recipe called Chuck. And he has a big thing on the upper right of this page that says, "Hi, I'm Chuck," and he's got a picture of him smiling at me. So anyway, so we're gonna our large stew pot, which is the Shelmet, is we're gonna get some carrots, parsnip, onion, and turnips, and we're gonna add those there, and then we're gonna pour in a broth. Now this recipe calls for a vegetable broth, but I think we want to make this a little heartier. Again, I'm ruining some vegan's life by suggesting this stuff. I'm sorry, Chuck, but that's just the way it shakes out this week. So we're gonna actually use probably like a bone broth or a chicken broth to make it a little more hearty, stick to your bones kind of situation. So we're going to add some leek, some mushroom, some green beans, some cabbage. And we're going to also, here's where we're going to put in the diced Shelmet. We're going to let that simmer for a little bit. And then we're going to throw in a bay leaf, thyme, rosemary, rubbed sage, ground pepper, and salt, and some red wine. And we're going to let that cook for about 30 minutes. And we're going to lastly put in some oats, we're going to put in some barley and some rolled oats, to get that kind of like a very, please, sir, can I have some more kind of aesthetic rolling in here. Let that cook for a little longer. Once that's all done, get a rustic loaf from your favorite rustic loaf and serve that as a side. You can dip into your pottage with your loaf, or you can just eat them separately if you want, the kind of situation. But there you go. You got your Shelmet pottage. Quick, easy, and available to every peasant. Yes, Ian?
There must be a Pokemon called Pottage, right?
I don't
Sounds
think
like it.
I don't think there is a Pokemon called Pottage, but I will look that up just for you.
There should be.
Not that I can see.
I looked up Pokemon Pottage, and the first word was potato pottage. So
someone made a Pikachu corn pottage.
Oh, there you go.
Nice.
Does not look appetizing. Oh my god.
This sounds really hearty, and it's very interesting to think about like certain recipes, like a soup having like a historical like ancestor or like something that came before it, kind of. That's like different, I guess.
Yeah.
Delish.
Yeah. Any pottage questions before we go on?
Does this need to like? I know you're cooking it in the Shelmet shell. I'm picturing like you walk into an inn and there's a big cauldron hanging over like a fire. Do you just have like a Shelmet hanging over a fire?
Yes.
Walk into the tavern.
Yeah.
Okay.
And maybe you have some bar wenches who like throw the Shelmet pottage into bowls as they swing their glasses around. You know what I'm saying?
And there's like a bard in the corner, like telling a tale.
Yeah, maybe 3 to 5 companions are meeting up for the first time to go on an adventure in this tavern.
This feels very Chaucer right now, and I am living for it.
Okay, yeah, I'm sure Chaucer would delight in a Shelmet pottage while he's going on his way to Canterbury? Yes, that's where his tales were set, or where they were told. I'm sure Pokemaniac Chris will correct me on that. But those are our recipes this week. From Ben, we have Shelmet gummies. From Ian, we have a Shelmet omelet, or Shamlet, as you said. From Evan, we have roasted Shamlet, as in mussels. And from me, we have a Shamlet potage.
So you're using Shamlet to describe how you made the full switch into Ian's world.
Well, I mean, Ian's world takes over my mind every week. So let us vote. And Ben, can you tell us who the winner mon is this week?
I surely can. It was a unanimous vote for Evan's stout stock Shelmet.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll take it.
And Ian got a vote.
I got
from
you.
Evan. Excellent. All right. Okay. Let's turn our recipe gathering not to the listener like you. It's called Whalelord's Mail Horde. Each week we read your comments, questions, and recipes sent in to ichoosepod@gmail.com. That's ichewspod@gmail.com. Ian, can you read this email from Soren?
Gladly. Subject line. The helmet bug who is not a bug, but is a bug because of Pokemon's typing tendencies. Soren writes, Hi Icy Gang, Birdkeeper Soren here, and today I don't really have a recipe for Shelmet. So, without further ado, here is my not really recipe for the cute little helmet bug. Cook it as you would a clam, over an open flame, of course.
Oh.
Then salt and pepper it to taste, perhaps adding some lemon juice. Now, for something much more important, a recommendation for LaCroix Boys, the podcast about cracking open and drinking LaCroix. This is in italics. The Trader Joe's copyright sparkling coconut water with yuzu. Personally, it was better than expected for a coconut drink. This coming from someone who doesn't like coconut.
I don't think Evan, have you consumed the Trader Joe's registered trademark sparkling coconut water with yuzu?
Not specifically that one, but I have seen yuzu popping up in a lot more sparkling beverages lately.
What is it?
It's like a Japanese fruit. Yeah, it's pretty good from what I've had. It kind of looks like a lemon crossed with an orange or something like that.
Oh,
So it's some sort of citrus.
Yeah.
So the next time I'm at Trader Joe's, which might be later this week, I'll definitely observe perhaps buying the the sparkling yuzu beverage,
Okay.
and see how it is.
When you do that, you also need to buy something else at Trader Joe's because we
vinegar drink.
No. This is not a prank, Jeremy. Last time I was pranking you, but fancy cheese crunchies. Imagine this: you take white cheddar pirate booty Cheeto snack, then you add some truffle oil all up in there. That's what the Trader Joe's fancy cheese Cheeto thingy is, and
cheese
it's
puffs
quite
coated
delicious.
in truffle oil.
I think I've had
it's
these
truffle
before.
flavored. Yeah.
Are they the kind of ones that come in like a small orange bag and they're like little discs? Am I?
No, they're like little Cheeto.
Oh, okay.
Like,
I haven't had these.
Looking things. Yeah.
Are they?
Quite
Real good.
delicious.
Do they have like a fun cat on the front?
It has a hot air balloon.
That is pretty fancy.
Like
Yeah.
airheads.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're out of control. Those are all the emails. But Ben, I heard we have some Twitters.
Yes, we have a tweet from Benedict Cumberbatch, which and they tweet, I think it's pretty obvious that we've got a classic case of it's already a completed dish as is here. Shelmet is clearly an overpriced ballpark sundae served in a plastic helmet bowl.
Clearly.
But in this case, it's a jousting concession stand instead of baseball.
I mean, that sounds pretty great. Like if I could go to like a medieval times and they served me a soft serve in a helmet, that sounds pretty fun. What like
You're waiting for knights to impale each other, and you're like, "Where's my ice cream?" and someone's like throwing sundaes around.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, I went to this ice cream shop in Albuquerque where they it's like Japanese ice cream, and instead of getting a regular cone, it's shaped like a fish, and it's like filled with ice cream, so it looks like a fish, like with ice cream sticking out of it. And as you eat the ice cream down, it like pushes it in to the fish shape. So when you get to the cone, instead of just a regular cone, it's kind of like a fried dough situation, shaped like a fish, and it's like filled with ice cream, and it's really good.
Oh, that
Where's
sounds
this?
It was at the Sawmill Market in Albuquerque. So
Can you fucking take me there?
you said you were in Michigan.
You
I was
said
in
you were in Michigan.
Yes. No, but that's when I went to eat there. But you're free to go whenever you want.
I have a couple more. This one comes from the lovely folks at the Poca Science podcast. They say this is going to be the easiest one ever. Just steam it with some various herbs and spices. It comes with its own plate for Arceus's sake.
I like that. I like that. That implies the hardest part about cooking is putting it on the plate.
I mean,
Presentation really is a skill.
I mean that does trip people up on cooking shows, so you know.
And then this one from Pokemaniac Chris, it's more of a thread, and he writes, "You can cook and eat Shelmet on its own just fine, or even eat it raw. In Driftvale City, they crack these things open and serve them on the half shell with a splash of mignonette sauce, like oysters. But if you want to get fancy, you serve Shelmet alongside Carablast. Carablast and Shelmet are paired strangely. They evolve when both receive electrical stimulation, Pokedex code for
baby.
when you trade them. In the process, Carablast steals Shelmet's shell, becoming the armored Excavalier, while Shelmet becomes squishy Excelgor. Excelgor?
Yes, excellent.
The fun thing is that other kinds of energy can also cause Shelmet and Carablast to react to each other in interesting ways. If you cook them together, the heat can cause them to release strange combinations of flavors that you'd never get from eating either Pokemon alone. The result is the Icarus Moor Bug Boil, traditional comfort food from swampy northwestern Unova, where both Pokemon are native. First, prepare I'm imagining for this, there's like a jug band like playing at this bug boil.
Some mouth harps.
Yes.
Yeah. First, prepare a spicy broth with garlic, onion, semi-sage, and superior leaves, and a drop, no more no less, of flaming chandelure oil. Bring that to a boil, then throw in your Shelmet and Carablast. You will want to shell your Shelmet first, but add the armor to the stew as well, because some kind of weird alchemy happens in this dish that makes normally unpalatable parts of both Pokemon delicious. If you boil it, if you boil it with a Carablast, Shelmet's armor softens to the point where it's edible and has a unique tangy umami flavor and a distinctive crunch. The unappetizing chitin of Carablast's chitin, the unappetizing chitin of Carablast's corn breaks down and exposes the flavorful crab-like meat within. Shelmet and Carablast also defend themselves with poisonous secretions that normally have foul, extremely bitter tastes. If you're cooking either Pokemon alone, you have to carefully remove the venom glands to avoid ruining the food. But mixed together, they somehow neutralize. The result is a creamy sauce with a delicate, subtly sweet flavor that grounds this entire stew beautifully. Finish the stew with some dried whirlipede segments or a little spicy palipitoad sausage, salt and pepper to taste, and a quick blast of Heatmore smoke. It sounds complicated, but the key is the culinary magic of tapping Shelmet and Carablast's unique relationship using fire instead of electricity. You could even experiment with using other mystic forces to bring them together, like the refreshing power of coconut LaCroix, which would make for an interesting recipe.
Excellent.
Love it.
Sounds good.
Do you think that in the Pokemon world, there's like someone by the name of Stan Hitmonlee who wrote like Spinnerack Kid, and his catchphrase is Excelgor.
Oh my god.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Hey, that's pretty good.
All right, I've got a recipe here from the Discord. Cute530 writes in and they say, though more of a snail than a conch, how about we do Shelmet fritters? Use oil, eggs, all-purpose flour, milk, salt, pepper, cayenne pepper to taste, onion, celery, garlic, and finely chopped Shelmet. Prepare by heating oil in a pot or deep fryer to 365 degrees. Mix milk, eggs, flour, and spices, then mix in Shelmet, onion, celery, garlic to make balls. Drop tablespoon size balls in the frying oil until golden brown. For plating, use the shell itself on its side and the fritters flowing out. Provide lemon slice and various dipping sauce choices. Recommended ketchup, tartar sauce, or ketchup mixed with lime juice, mayo, salt, or pepper. Sounds pretty darn good if you ask me. Have you guys ever eaten conch?
No.
If I said conch, would that make you remember if you had eaten it?
No.
Okay.
Magic conch.
It's pronounced conch in real life. IRL. SpongeBob lied to us.
Oh.
The people in Key West would get very mad if you said conch. All right. Let us pick next week's Pokemon in a segment I like to call Pick-a-mon. Evan, could you randomly generate a number between what is it again? Do you remember? It's 400.
It's 494 and 649.
Yes.
And how about 601?
601, you say. 601. Have we done this before? We will see. I am scrolling. This is a high number. Okay. Next week, we're going to do Kling Clang, the gear Pokemon. Clink Clang, excuse me.
Wait, which
Time to eat
which
some
of the gear
gears.
ones is it? Is it the one with 2?
Yes.
Okay.
It's the final. It's Clink Clang, Clink Clang, which, very creative, if I do say so myself.
What?
We could just do Clink if we don't want to do Clink Clang itself.
No,
but
we got it. We have to abide by the random number generator.
This is going to be a time.
We have very few rules on this show, and that is
yes.
one of
them. Except when we ignore it. But send in your Clink Clang recipes. A very simple task, I think, going forward. So for next week's show. All right. Now it's time for plugs. Ben, do you have any plugs you want to tell us about?
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter if you would like, at Ben C. Montoya.
Heard you have some deep thoughts about Kingdom Hearts 2.
Kingdom Hearts 2 is a very good game, and I enjoyed myself greatly.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, Ian.
I could tell you to follow me at Position Davis or at Ian Reynolds Photo, but instead, I'm going to tell you to pick up this excellent cookbook called Japanese Home Cooking: Simple Meals, Authentic Flavors by Sonoko Sakai. I'm reading it right now, and it's a wonderful book. It's one of those, like, not only is it just like a wealth of here are like the fundamental like staples of Japanese cooking, how to like make those like basic things you need to have in your pantry, and then how do you apply them to these dishes. But the author she's just like a wonderful writer, and she has a lot of really cool stories about like how she came into like these various recipes and her experience with like certain like ingredients. I was reminded of it whenever I was talking about that particular seaweed, because I was reading about its use in a very important stock base that is used in Japanese cooking. So check it out. Excellent cookbook if you want to learn more about Japanese cooking.
Cool.
Nice. Excellent.
Well, I've got no mugs to plug, but you can always follow me on Twitter at _Van Aubrey. Who knows? Maybe I won't be on Twitter for very much longer after Mr. Musk does what he will with it, but we'll see.
Do what that wills, for I am the full Musk of law. I'm Jeremy Zulik. You can follow me on Twitter at VelocityPrime1. Usually I post pictures from my hikes, but I didn't go hiking this weekend because I had COVID. But you can also read my writings on the-avocado.org. That's the-avocado.org. Jeremy Zulik on the-avocado.org. Check it out. And I think that does it for the plug. So this has been I Choose You, the podcast about cooking and eating Pokemon. You can get us on your favorite podcast app of choice, including Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, and Spotify. If you like our show, make sure to give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. If you want more I Choose You goodness, make sure to head over to our social media pages, I Choose Pod on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, newly available. All the kids fucking love us on TikTok. They're doing dances to our recipes, flossing to the Pokemon, as I'm saying. So check us out on all those places. You can send in recipes, all that business.
I think we have picked up a few new listeners through the TikTok already. So if that's how you came to this show, spread the good word.
Yeah, tell your friends and your family about it. I'm sure they'll all be very appreciative.
Tell your aunt at the dinner table who doesn't know how to use the podcasting app.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I did over Easter. Tell a middle-aged woman's like, "What's a podcasting app?" And then they start playing the show out loud over the dinner table. But that's not all. That's not the only icy thing on the internet. We also have the official I Choose You Discord. Links are in our episode description and on our social media pages. You can head up, talk to fellow choosies. We do events, all that good stuff on the I Choose You Discord. Lastly but not leastly, make sure to check out our official website, ichooseyou.menu. ichooseyou.menu has a full episode archive and a merch store where you can purchase aprons, stickers, and pins, all designed by one Evan Aubrey. ichooseyou.menu. I think that covers everything. So for the show, I've been your host and Alton Brown of the group, Jeremy Zulik.
I've been your friend on this show, Ben Montoya.
I've been your Napoleon Bonaparte, Ian Davis.
And Evan Aubrey.
And to all the listeners out there in Radioland, in a while, Totodile.
It's always hard when the recipe's new.
Make a presupposition or just make a stew.
But there's no month that we can't cook. So turn up the volume, put down that book.
It's season 5.
Let the pan sage roast.
Keep the Nilux alive.
Make some tepid toast.
So crack a cold one, now's the time.
For cooking Pokemon and making rhymes. We're not always right or wrong, but you'll probably have some fun. It's win or lose based on the jokes you choose. choose the winners within. It's a podcast called I Choose You. Ben, Evan, Jeremy, Andy, and Jew. Let the